the faces of just a handful of the hundreds of patients failed and consigned to a premature death by the overprescription of opioids at Gosport War Memorial Hospital. 456 patients died and another 200 probably had their lives shortened. A 4-year inquiry into the way patients at the hospital were routinely given drug overdoses found there'd been a disregard for human life and relatives were ignored.
The relatives have shown remarkable tenacity and fortitude in questioning what happened to their loved ones. The documents explained and published today show that they were right to ask those questions.
Dr. Jane Barton, a GP responsible for prescribing drugs at the hospital over the 12-year period of the deaths, was found guilty of serious professional misconduct back in 2010, but she wasn't struck off or charged with any criminal offences. But the independent panel also criticised other professionals at the Gosport Hospital. The consultants, who were aware of the policy of overprescribing but didn't intervene, and nurses who had responsibility to challenge the policy but failed, showing a lack of diligence. The report concludes patients and relatives were marginalised by staff at the hospital. Arthur Cunningham was 79 when he went into the hospital with bed sores, but slipped into a drug-induced coma. His family, like scores of others, have been campaigning for justice for the last 20 years.
I don't think he got care. He was actually put on this route to disposal, I'm afraid. There was no food, no water. It was simply pumped drugs into him until he died.
Hampshire Police carried out 3 investigations into the deaths at the hospital. They were criticised as limited in depth. In a statement today, the police said, "We have cooperated fully with the panel's inquiries and shared with them more than 25,000 documents containing 100,000 pages of information. We will assess any new information contained within the report in conjunction with our partners in health and the Crown Prosecution Service in order to decide the next steps." In the last few minutes, the Prime Minister has apologised.
There is the answers from the NHS. I'd like to thank Bishop James Jones and his fellow panel members for what they've done. I'd be happy to meet the right honourable gentleman with Bishop Jones.
The panel says it's not their job to call for criminal charges, but on behalf of the bereaved families, they've called on the Health Secretary, Home Secretary and Attorney General to consider what should be done now. Juliet Bremner, ITV News.